Let's chat about finding the right return to run progression. This is whether you're a mom looking for that right way back, or if you work with postpartum runners, let's say you're a coach or a physical therapist or a trainer, where do you even begin? And the first thing that people always ask me is, what about a couch to 5K? That sounds great, right? Um, Maybe, maybe not. Hey Shannon, how are you? Couch to 5K, I think that was kind of the easy thing for a long time because it was just a program. It was out there. It was considered basic. And it was something that we could just kind of grab on and see how it went. And I think we're far further down the road now, being able to say, starting with a 5-minute run may not actually be the best choice, even if it's a run walk. And so what I would kind of ask you to think about is, if we've done a return to run readiness screen, if we know that there's an ability to tolerate impact, so with hopping, if we know that balance is decent, if we know strength's decent, why not undershoot the goal? Okay, follow me for a second. Imagine if you went out for your very first postpartum run. Okay, super excited, you got your cute outfit on, it fits, your boobs are all empty, it's all good, right? And you go out for that run, you're feeling great, and let's just say, God forbid, when you're finished, you have symptoms. Either you leaked, or you had pressure, or you had pelvic pain. I don't care how long it was. Let's just talk about kind of that feeling. What does that feel like when you've waited for something for so long, and then it is not at all what you expected? And I think this is what I run into so much with moms that thought they could kind of DIY this, maybe overshot the goal, just thought, gosh, I'm strong, I was pregnant, I'm strong, I can do this. Maybe didn't even screen, and now they're trying to dig themselves out of a hole. And I think mentally it's incredibly challenging to now kind of look at yourself and look at your body and say, okay, yeah, no, I can totally do this. And so I've consciously, probably for the last couple of years now, started with walk run programs with moms, excuse me, where we're undershooting. Meaning the goal is to get out there with your shoes on, to get your outfit on, get out the door, get the habit built, to have time under gravity, okay? So time that you're vertical, and then we gradually start to put in a little bit of run with our walk. And the nice thing about that, and I've done this recently with a couple of clients, is you don't have to 100% clear that screen. I've had clients where maybe they could tolerate impact 30 seconds or so and then started to have symptoms. Lots of times we're able to do like a minute of running. And think about what that feels like. Okay, let's try a totally different scenario. You go out and run, no matter how long it is, maybe it's just a minute, but you feel good. And let's say you have a day or two rest, you do it again, feels good. Get out there, go ahead, do it again, feels good. Now you've got some confidence that those first couple times weren't a fluke. You're not symptomatic, you're not freaking out. So purely from a kind of physical and mental standpoint, it makes more sense to undershoot. And that's where we run into trouble with a lot of these couch to 5Ks, is even though they're starting with like 5-minute run and 5-minute walk, sometimes that's too much. And I know it doesn't seem like much, but would you rather overshoot, end up with symptoms, and it takes you longer to get back, and now you've got to kind of overdo that or get over that mental hurdle? Or would you rather undershoot? And I mean, if we do a nice little progression, let's say you're lucky enough to be out there running 2 to 3 times a week, and this kind of progression that we set up is, with warm up and cool down, a total of 30 minutes. If you're lucky enough to do that 2 to 3 times a week, you're back running full within 5 weeks, which really isn't that long. And I know it's really hard when you're in those beginning throes of postpartum. But years later, it's a blip on the screen. But trying to undershoot your goals, set yourself up for success, both physically and mentally. So we're going to kick the couch to 5K to the curb, because that also It's just a general recommendation. It's not geared specifically towards all the postpartum concerns that we have. So we're going to kick that to curb. We're going to get a little bit more specific. You're going to screen first. We're going to start with just basics. So usually I'll start with 5-minute warm up, 5-minute cool down. And then we try a couple of rounds of 1-minute run, 4-minute walk. And again, we want to repeat those on a couple different days to make sure it's not a fluke, make sure you're not symptomatic before we go ahead and move on. All right, let me know if you have any questions about how to get started on running. And again, if you're a postpartum coach or trainer and you're not used to kind of setting up dosing and you don't have a run coach to work with or somebody that's familiar with this, definitely hit me up in the DMs as far as some great places to start. Moms, we definitely want to start with more. Just for a short period of time, let's start with a little bit less and see how it goes. All right, I'll see you in the DMs.